All right, that's restaurant suicide. You ever walk into a door in a restaurant that you drove real fast to try to get to, and at 9 o'clock, they're like, that's restaurant suicide. But just cut the music. Thank you. Hey, Jeff's Journey, I'm Jeff. And it's like, I don't know if I'm gonna swear. I don't know, please, I don't know if I'm gonna offend somebody. I almost started crying with that introduction just because this is a real emotional stage for me. Out of all the speaking that I do, this one could be interesting, but let's go with it. Thank you. All right, so look, I'm a fan of the alliteration, the J and the J, Jeff's Journey, the W and the W, Wich, the Genghis Grill. We're in what? The CC, right? Maybe it's all part of this universal conspiracy, but we're gonna go with it. But I'm gonna start you with my journey back in Hamtramck, Michigan, which is a suburb of Detroit where the Polish immigrants gathered. My grandmother and grandfather, known as my bop and my jaja, on my mother's side, lived in this two-story house. My parents were just starting out. They were both in school. You can see the picture in the middle, the green and white. The house wasn't much. It was uninsulated. It was cold. But it's where we started. I'm 5 years old, and I'll never forget, my parents went to school, and it was the day to spend with my bop and my jaja. I would go upstairs to that uninsulated house and open the door, heat rises, and there I was in Grandma's kitchen, and I could see Grandma just look at me. My bop, when she gave me that look, I was like, there was something special about it. And I'd go watch cartoons in my onesie at 5 years old, watching Bugs Bunny and Penelope Pit Stop, Strawberry Shortcake, Daffy Duck, all the alliterative cartoons. And you know, we'd turn the knob. There was only 3 stations, but it was Saturday morning. There was cartoons. And with my jaja, my grandfather, we sat there. My grandmother would get us dressed. But let me tell you about my grandmother and grandfather. They didn't have much. They each worked 3 jobs each. They weren't high prestigious jobs. They were, odd jobs around the neighborhood, janitorial type stuff. They were immigrants. My grandfather got lucky and he got on the automotive line at Chrysler. He had a machine accident. I never asked why his finger was like this, but let me just say, both of them literally worked their fingers to the bone to provide for their family. My grandmother would get us dressed on a Saturday, and my brother and I would walk with her to this bakery. We'd pass 4 bakeries on the way there, and that was odd. Why are we passing 4 bakeries? We'd go to the baker, open up the door, and you'd see the baker, flour flying all over the place. He'd be presenting me a punchki, which is a Polish jelly-filled donut. My grandmother would be waving, Bop would be waving, and all of a sudden, Grandma would hand an envelope to the baker. Every Saturday, that's what we did. Every Saturday. We'd go back, Grandmother would pick up some fresh bread, and she'd make some sandwiches. The sandwiches were peanut butter and jelly. They were bright orange cheese. But I'll never forget when Grandma brought me the sandwiches, she would deliver them on a platter. She'd look at them, she'd look at us, and we'd take them, we'd watch cartoons with Jaja. But the sandwiches there, as we ate them, I could see Grandmother behind me, I could feel her behind me looking at me with that special look, that look in her eye, that caring look, that look of love, that look I'll never forget. But here's what I know, and I didn't know at 5 years old, is that she set the stage for me of another alliterative thing called Heartfelt Hospitality. When you give and you have nothing to give, you saw the condition of the house, you saw how they worked, their fingers were, damaged. My grandparents gave, and they gave from the heart. And those sandwiches, they were good, they were delicious, but that look, that was somebody that gave, because the bread that she gave to us was bread she couldn't afford. Every Saturday, that envelope was my grandmother's tab that she paid the baker because she wanted to make good on it, because throughout the week she would get bread for her family so that they could have subsistence. That cheese, bright orange, was a government-assisted cheese. I had no idea that my family was on aid from the government, but so be it, here we are. But they gave everything and more and things that they couldn't afford. And it really laid the foundation for who I am and where I'm going. And as I get you on this journey, we're gonna go from 5 years old now to something a little bit more interesting. A lemonade stand. 11 years old, we moved to the country. We're at the farmer's market with my mother. And I said, Mom, I want to rent a stall and do a lemonade stand. I need $10. Okay, my mom just became my banker, okay? It was a 0-interest loan, but I went to work. I branded a table, yellow Solo cups. I was gonna sell yellow lemonade, and I was gonna conquer it with the novel idea. I was gonna freeze the lemonade so I wouldn't have to buy ice cubes. As an 11-year-old, I had it figured out, and I was gonna crush it at my first business. So we go to bed Friday night, and sure enough, we wake up, frost is in the air. I'm like, this is the middle of summer, this can't be. It's gonna get warmer, I'm the eternal optimist. But you know what happened? Mom's like brewing her Mr. Coffee because she needed 2 cups of milk, Maxwell House, before we left the house. She's like, Jeffrey, you have to stay home. I'm like, no, Mom, we have to go. They're not gonna give us our $10 back. So I proceeded to open the freezer, and the lemonade exploded, because that's what happens when ice gets in frozen environments. I was screwed, I'm cleaning it up, and Mom's like, no, we're not going. I'm like, we're going. The Oldsmobile Tornado was loaded. We drove like a banshee to the farmer's market. I set up, I didn't want to be late. It is freezing out, okay? I set up, all the farmers are coming in, the lines are starting to build, and I'm there with my branded table, my sign, everything, and I'm freezing. We didn't plan to bring a coat. So what does my mom do? She leaves an 11-year-old in a farmer's market, something no mother in their right mind would do today. But that's what happened 30-some years ago in Brighton, Michigan. And it really shaped me, because I stood there in the cold. It did get warmer when I got the coat, but as I was selling the lemonade, I thought I was selling it. People were walking in and said, this kid's crazy. He should be selling hot chocolate or coffee. They rolled their eyes, they laughed at me, but I stuck to my guns and I stood there and I froze. It did get a little warmer, but the farmer next to me said, son, take this can and take your art supplies and make a tip jar. And I put the tip jar on the counter there, and I didn't sell any lemonade that day. But what happened through the 4 or 5 hours of the farmer's market is that lemonade jar rose, and it was filled with cash. And Kenny Rogers says, don't count your money while you're standing at the table. I stood at that table, and I couldn't wait for it to be over, because I thought I failed. I didn't sell any lemonade. But I did the count. I went back there, emptied the tip jar. I had over $100. I broke off $10 because I knew that was going to my banker, my mom. And the rest of it, I was an 11-year-old kid with 2 weeks worth of lemonade. My cost of goods was 0, and I was on my way. But guys, look, you know now what you didn't know then. And what I knew is what I want to tell you, it's about your stand. It wasn't about the lemonade. There's a member in this group, I don't know if Roy's here today, but when I heard the title of the book, I'm like, there's another reason why I belong to this tribe, this conscious capitalism. It's not what you sell, it's what you stand for. I wasn't there to sell lemonade. I was there to be an entrepreneur at 11 years old, brave the cold, show up early, don't go home. And it really set the stage. And I gave for the heart, even though I didn't sell anything, but it's about your heartfelt hospitality and your stand. So let's jump on the journey. We're gonna jump a couple decades. I land in Dallas here. And I've got this entrepreneurial bug. I finished my MBA in 6 months, a 2-year program. I went to school day, night, weekend, holidays, distant learning. I wanted to get out of school. I wanted to do my own stuff. I had a little taste of lemonade. I grew up in the bar business, and I'm gonna do my first nightclub. Has anyone here been to a topless bar? I mean, really, has anyone? All right, Dev, all right. Everyone close your eyes, and anyone that's been to a topless bar, raise their hand. All right. Whoa, all right. Let me just say, I took all my savings, and I had about 20 credit cards that I could bootstrap at a 0% interest or fluctuating transfers. I had a couple $100,000 in credit through bootstrapping credit cards. I put everything that I could into this topless bar. It's all I could rent, and it didn't have a roof, and everyone had their clothes on. Think about it. But when it rained, drinks were half off. When it was over 100 degrees, it was half off, and people came in droves. But the problem with it, I opened in October. We had a little bit of a nice fall summer here in Texas, and then it got cold. No different than the lemonade stand. It got freezing cold, and I had to make a decision. I'm a couple $100,000 into this business venture, and I'm gonna go broke, but I need to shut it down because nobody's coming. It's cold, and just like the lemonade stand, I felt myself shivering, not so much from the cold, but from the fear that was going on inside of me. And I shut it down, and I said, I'm gonna find another job, and I'm gonna work all winter, and I'm gonna open up in the spring. It was a long, cold winter. Spring came, in front of the Main Street Asylum was a 13-block arts festival. I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, everyone's going to be buying the beer out there. I don't know what happened, but they liked the beer that we were selling. Maybe it was a quarter less. We couldn't keep it cold. We couldn't buy it fast enough. I was like an options trader, just ordering beer off trucks. We sold more beer in 4 days than the festival promoter. They still talk about it 25 years later. I sold so much beer to retire all my debt in 4 days than to pay off all my loans and start another venture. It was crazy. But here's what I know now. As part of my journey, there's a universal conspiracy. Doug talked about it. The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho says, if you want something bad enough, the world's going to conspire to give it to you. The lemonade stand made money. That was a conspiracy. The fact that the Main Street Asylum, the topless bar, made money enough in 4 days to set me off on my entrepreneurial journey. I really believe this, that if you want something bad enough, there's going to be people that come to help you on this journey. Larry, how you doing? So I sell everything. I end up doing 8 concepts, and it was a lot to process. I don't know if you have 8 different businesses, but I had 8 different marketing, 8 different menus, 8 different landlords, 8 different places I had to visit. And I said, that's enough, because every time I made a little bit of money, I started a new venture. I had a formula, put it in a bar and a Bose sound system, and it worked. But and I was buying ads from this paper called The Met, which was Rand Stagen's first business, but that's another story. So I sell everything, and I'm going to take this double alliterative approach and name something with my first alliterative concept, the Genghis Grill. I fell in love with Mongolian barbecue. I found it when I was in Dallas, I was eating at a rundown. The health department should have shut this place down, Mongolian barbecue, and I said, there's something here. My friend was doing BD's Mongolian barbecue. There's something here. I fell in love with it, and I said, I'm going to do this. And sure enough, just like the lemonade stand, I branded it, I opened it. We opened on Greenville Avenue. We were going to the bank twice a day to make deposits. We build another store. Landlords are calling. The phones start ringing for franchising. We are literally on a rocket ship. We have 4 stores open, 12 under construction, another 35 in development. I think I just found, and by the way, I just met the girlfriend, and she was beautiful. I'm like, we're driving around looking at fancy homes, drinking champagne, cars. I'm like, I hit the friggin' lottery. Life is great. Life is so good that I'm getting the Hot Concept Award in Chicago. And I'll never forget, my phone's getting hammered in my pocket, and I keep putting in the voicemail. I finally look at it. It's the office calling. And I answer the phone, and it's Maria, my controller. I'm like, Maria, you should be here. We're partying life. We just won the Hot Concept. She's, Jeff, you have to get home. I'm like, Maria, no, you have to get here. No, Jeff, you have to get home. We can't make payroll. What do you mean we can't make payroll? Look, I got a credit card in the drawer. Jeff, we already found it. I got cash in the box, on the shoebox. Jeff, you have to get home. Have you ever had that time in your life, you see it in the movies, where time stands still and the world just is spinning around you? This was a moment for me. And I was like, I walk into the Genghis Grill office. There's a stack 2 feet high with vendor bills that are extended out 180 days. When I turned over the company 18 months earlier to my president and my controller, we had money in the bank. We were upside down almost $4 million in a very short period of time. And I thought I hit the lotto. What do? What I learned is when you need money, it's abundant. When you need money, it's not abundant. When you have money, it is abundant. I didn't have anything. Family runs, friends run, bankers won't talk to you. I had one friend that popped up and he said, I'm your best friend, I can help you out, I'll give you $1 million. I'm like, it's not enough, but it was enough just to stay in the game. So I took it, but I'll never forget, it was divided into 4 tranches. That's how investments are made, I learned. And I'll never forget, on the page 13 at the top of the document, it said, if I have the inability to repay this loan, I forfeit the rest of the company. The company I lose it. And I said to him, I can't sign this, because as soon as I sign it, you can take the company, because I can't repay you. He says to me, I'm your best friend, I would never do that. Yeah. Somebody heard this story, or knows this story, or this is a typical story. 2 weeks later, I get a letter that says, please pay back the loan. Couldn't do it, lost the company. The company has over 150 units, doing hundreds of millions of dollars. I went to a very dark place. Lost everything. When you lose everything, it can get dark on you. I shut the windows. I've never been diagnosed as depressed or anything, but it was hurting me internally. I was spooning my dog Genghis, my white Labrador, at night, crying myself to sleep, wringing the pillow out with tears. And it was dark and it was bad. And I'm like, my girlfriend, I'm like, you got to get out of here. This is no place, you know. But here's what I learned. The girlfriend was bringing me sandwiches and trying to get me going. She stuck with me. But she says, you can do it again. You did a lemonade stand. You did multiple bars. Look, you can do it again. You know, it's just a little, you can do this. Never give up. I learned right there, brush yourself off, just never give up. So I didn't give up. You know, I kind of just start getting dressed and, putting a plan together. But what I know about double alliteration is let's do it again, right? WW, because we're going to win this time, all right? We're going to do it right. We're going to take all the lessons that we learn. I believe when you start a business, you start it with everything you learned right up to the time you start it, and it's going to be your best business. So if you start one today, it's going to be your best. But I started Wich. I had a double alliterative reporter call me called Hala Habal. It's a sign. It's a conspiracy. She does a 7-page article. I thought I was being punked. There's no reason, but it said fresh off the sale of Genghis Grill. We spun it as a sale. People thought we made millions. It was true. We didn't make millions, but we sold it. The branding phenom, the superior hero, youth, energy, and fresh ideas. We photoshopped the logos, but we prophesied what it was going to be. And it turned out to be 7 pages of our partners and how we were going to do it. We never even made a sandwich when this came out. Cover story, the day that we open, the Potbelly CEO comes in. The next day, Jimmy John comes in. The next week, the Quiznos R&D team comes in. The following week, Fred DeLuca calls me from Subway. It wouldn't have happened, I believe, if I wouldn't have put that vision out there. And it was documented by Hala. Hala is now our vice president of communications. She's part of this journey, this conspiracy. You never know, like Doug said, who you're sitting next to. You never know who's going to write about you, who may join your journey. But see your vision and document it. It's true, it works. But when our company right before it hit 10 years, I heard this statistic because I was going to see Tony Robbins down in Fiji and I was studying business and I'm like, 98% of all companies don't make it to 10 years. And I'm looking at my wife now, who was the girlfriend who stuck with me, and I said, Courtney, I think we're going to make it. I think we're going to make it to 10 years and be that elite 2%. I was scared to death too because I lost the company, and I know you can lose it in a moment. But we were searching. We're one of the most hyper-branded companies out there. Our visions and values on the wall. We're doing Stegan courses, Robin courses, really trying to make this company as strong as possible. But something was missing. There was like this emptiness inside of me. We just came off of a big donation where when you write a check, a matching check, it's scary. And I'm like, Courtney, something's off. We got to find it. And I started getting invites to be in the Conscious Capitalism convention. And I'm like, that's too woo-woo for me, but let me go with it. So I bring my team out to San Francisco in the same room that we're kind of sitting in right now. And I'm seeing Method Soap, Roy Spence, all these gurus. I'm like, this is weird. But I see this guy sitting 5 rows in front of me, the Container Store, Kip Tyndall. Kip is a rock star. There's a receiving line at break to go see him. And I'm like, Courtney, let's go meet Kip. So I grabbed Courtney. It was like grabbing my dog to give him a bath. And we go down 5 rows because I wanted to meet this guy. We get up to him, and I'm like, hey, Kip. I always wear the logo. I'm a human sandwich board. I'm like, hey, Jeff from Wich. He goes, I love Wich. High five and everything. And I'm like, Kip, we go to the Container Store. My wife thought something was wrong when we had our first baby. I would disappear 4 times a night. She thought maybe we had a baby. I didn't love her anymore, but I was nesting at your store. Your people are great. I love you, Kip. And I give him my card. I said, if you ever need anything, we're in Dallas, you're in Dallas, let me know. We're in the sandwich business. He looks at my card, and on the second line, I'll never forget, I'm standing there with Courtney, and it says, some want to make the world a better place. I was one-on-one with Kip. It felt like the world was about ready to spin. It felt like I just lost everything. It felt like it was freezing at the lemonade stand. It felt like grandma was looking me straight in the eye. What's going on, son? It said it on my card. It said it on my walls. I just looked at Courtney and I said, Kip, we are going to make the world a better place. When we get back to Dallas, we're going to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and we're in the sandwich business. We're going to use our stores to sell them, and we're going to get trucks and pass them out, and we're going to make this thing real, and we're going to help people in need. And we might even put them in your containers. He gave me a high five. I kind of walked back with Courtney up to our seats, 5 rows. I stopped Courtney 2 steps up, and I said, what just happened? She said, you just made a promise to start living your values, to start, thanks. A promise to Kip, a promise to me, a promise to your company that you are going to make the world a better place. And I think that's what's been missing in this company. Sure enough, I get back to Dallas, and what do? I go into our kitchen to keep that promise, and I make 3 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Main Street, USA, I walk outside, and there's 2 people on a park bench, a couple. They're soiled, you can smell them, they're down on their luck. For some reason, I open the door, they turn around, they stand up, I start walking towards them, it's weird. I'm holding 3 sandwiches, and I want to show my team, and they're coming towards me, and they're like, can you help us? I'm like, do you like peanut butter and jelly? They said, yes, and I just changed that. And it was a very emotional, there was tears, there was emotion, there was excitement, but I knew right then and there that in a moment's notice, this thing's gonna work. It can happen that fast, Main Street, USA. So I kept my promise to Kip, and we went into hyper branding mode. But one thing you have to do in this life is keep your handshake, keep your word, keep your promise to be successful. So I went in just like the lemonade stand, just like Genghis Grill, just like Wich, I went into hyper branding mode, and I'm gonna create Project PB&J. During that week, I brand everything, I get everyone together in our lobby, and I said, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna make the world a better place. I've got Courtney there, all 50 team members, and we're gonna make the world a better place through PB&J. When you sell one at the store, the world gets one, the community gets one, and we're gonna do this. We broke out of the huddle. 10 minutes later, Courtney shows up in my office bawling. She's like, Jeff, I don't know if we can do this. Bawling, tears flowing on the floor. I'm like, get yourself together. We can, and we are. She goes, but 2 people just pulled me aside. One of them said, I lived in a foster home with my teddy bear. That's all we ate was peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. For that reason, I'm gonna stick with you in this company. I feel I'm here for a deeper reason. Another person pulled Courtney aside and said, look, I was in an abusive relationship, and I left my husband with my 3 kids, and we went in our car. We didn't know where we were gonna go, but we had bread and peanut butter, and we ate sandwiches for 3 weeks while we figured it out. When you find what you believe, it can change everything. The company started to change. As peanut butter and jelly got out there, they're soft statistics, but the ones that were engaged in it had higher sales, had better engagement, less turnover. It works. And it was born right here in the conscious capitalism environment. And I'm here to be very thankful and just tell the story that it's who you're sitting next to that can make the difference. It's your journey, it's how you write it. But let me show you what PB&J looks like in real life right now. It's a little video, and then we'll wrap this up. Because we're gonna have the opportunity to make peanut butter and jellies today, over 10,000 of them to give to 14 different charities here in Dallas. When I was young, the first sandwich I made in my career of culinary was a peanut butter and jelly. So oftentimes you share peanut butter and jelly with a loved one, or we can make someone's day better through this. We're gonna do a lot of good here. The sandwiches that we make today are going to
Seattle Union Gospel Mission, and part of why we are partnering with them today is because every evening in Seattle, they go out between 8 p.m. and 12 p.m. and they find the homeless in the street and they give them a PB&J sandwich and a cup of hot chocolate, and they invite them into the mission.
We brought 3 of the ingredients, y'all have brought the 4th. We had the peanut butter, the jelly, and the bread. You guys add the love, and that's the most important part.
Go!
You want 10 of these, right? Yes, 10.
Just hit 500!
And the winner is
everybody gets a sandwich. Good job, guys.
2012, 13, 14,
1014. All right. I want to thank you on behalf of Wich because this project means a lot to me. I hope I can share it with you guys, and the goal is to share it with 1,014 people tonight.
There's so many homeless people out there that doesn't have anything to eat, and we usually use the sandwiches for search and rescue and in the welcome center.
Our job tonight is to go out and serve our brothers and sisters out on the street. We have like clothes, we have the sandwiches, we got cocoa. And that stuff's just going to get them through the night. Most of it will be gone tomorrow. When you do live on the streets, people tend to overlook you, and they tend to treat you less than normal. All right, see how we do this?
This is what we do. Our body's fighting to stay warm. And if someone comes along and gives you a hot cup of cocoa or peanut butter jelly sandwich, it just makes it all night.
We usually start off with 2 sandwiches apiece for everyone and a pair of socks. That way we know that we have enough for everybody.
Yeah, everything's in here? Sandwiches?
Yeah, so sandwiches and socks.
Okay, I'll take some hot sauce.
We're going to go back here up in the trees. We go way back in there.
We see a lot of people that are in their addiction of drugs and alcohol. We see a lot of people that have mental issues. We just want to make sure everyone's safe.
Here, so I've got some pants and gloves and a hat for you. And then there's a blanket. No, thank you. Have a great night.
People don't understand that just asking them what their name is or just asking them how their day is going makes a huge impact on their lives. It makes their day.
It's such a tragedy that anybody in this country is ever wanting for food, whatever their age, whatever their circumstances, and if anybody who does anything to help that, and the fact that you've got all these people from big companies helping out here. We had great fun doing it, so helping people can be really good fun. And I think what you guys do at Wich, it's remarkable, and more people need to help out. Spread the love.
So that's what it's looked like. Like I said, we're going to have the opportunity to spread the love after this. If you want to join us, please join us on my journey, our journey. It wouldn't be possible without the conscious capitalism. The Dougs, the Johns, the Larrys, there's so many people in here that have touched me and shaped me. But grandmother, the Heartfelt Hospitality, Roy, the Stand, the Universal, Paulo Caleo, Never Give Up, Courtney, See Your Vision, Tony Robbins, and the Handshake, Kip, and more. But you know what? We've had a lot of success. We've had ups and downs along the journeys. But let me tell you how it all comes together. You can go home and bring your loved one flowers, but when that loved one sticks with you through your ups and downs, you name a cookie after her. You take alliteration, and you put love in it. And when you buy a cookie, it also benefits Project PB&J. Courtney, thank you. Thank you all, and appreciate it.